Witnesses say half a dozen shots were fired into their home on Dagobert Street just under an hour ago. He was just brought back to Luzerne County to face charges in connection with Devon Brown's death.
And found that overall crashes were down by 34%. We first met Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey III when he flew into the airport Saturday night. Since then, he spent his time talking to students and other veterans about his historic experience. As Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey III returned to where he grew up, the honor is much deserved for the mountaintop native who played an important role in American history, as Harvey is one of the last remaining members of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Then we were just flying, that's all. We were just flying, and that was it, just doing our job. But little did we know that we would be a part of history.
Harvey was a part of the first all-African-American squadron and the first African-American to fly a combat mission over Korea. But the recognition to his unit would take decades to be acknowledged.
The Army Air Corps, when the group came back from overseas, they put a classification of top secret on the Tuskegee Airmen. It was on for 50 years, came off in '95. The program was too successful. If we weren't white, we didn't have any brains.
Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey was already making accomplishments even before he joined the military. When he graduated from the then Fairview High School in 1942, he was president and valedictorian of his class.
Perfection is what we were required to have.
Harvey took time to visit his childhood community, speaking to students at Crestwood High School here in Mountaintop, where he continued to share his story, a story of success that almost wasn't told.
We were the best at escorting overseas. We were the best, but we weren't supposed to be. It's a good feeling, knowing we were the best. And before James Harvey plans to fly back to his home in Colorado on Wednesday, he is planning to have dinner with veterans at the American Legion in Mountaintop tomorrow night. Peggy Lee, Newswatch 16, reporting live here in Luzerne County.
Soon after flames destroyed this home on Washburn Street yesterday, people wanted to know what led up to the standoff between a man and police that resulted in the massive fire. Neighbors and family tell Newswatch 16 that man was Alan Smith. Smith was arrested in 2006 for child pornography. Those same neighbors say Smith was staying at the home with his mother, Rosemary. Mary Sikanis runs a daycare next to the burned-out home, where she says Alan Smith threw a tantrum over police who showed up with an emergency protection from abuse order.
Because his mom told him he had to stop and he had to get out.
What did he have to stop doing?
He had to stop bothering us.
Sikanis says Alan Smith got angry when parents would pull into his mother's driveway to pick up their children. That reached a boiling point just one day before the standoff and fire.
He said, I'm going to stop this effing stuff one way or another. And then the mother called us yesterday apologizing because she knew I heard him, and she said she was afraid to come home.
Smith's aunt, Sister Angela Miller, was also in the home at the time of the fire. That's according to family who tell Newswatch 16 Miller was a nun and teacher at St. Clair St. Paul's, a Catholic school in the city. These photos are from the Sisters of Immaculate Heart of Mary's website. Tax records also show Miller owns the property on Washburn Street.
She was always a very caring and kind woman, always interested in other people's lives.
Parishioners at St. Paul's in Scranton tell Newswatch 16 the Monsignor led the congregation in a prayer for Sister Angela and her sister Rosemary because of their involvement in a domestic violence incident.
Usually you see things like this on the news and, you know, it's always like at a distance, but I don't know, you're kind of just in awe when it happens right around the corner of your house. It's too close to home.
Citizens of Scranton are really outraged that this happened to them again. Sort of like, you know, here we go again with the corruption.
Callers continued their outcry here at WILK Studios over the abrupt downfall of former Scranton Mayor Bill Courtwright. Courtwright was in federal court in Williamsport, where he admitted taking money from businesses hoping to do work with the city. Those who didn't pay didn't get the job. One of the first callers to the talk radio show, the man who brought the corruption charges against Courtwright, U.S. Attorney David Freed.
We're going to continue to pursue this investigation as far as it takes. The agents who are working on this case were working on this case nonstop.
Freed's call came after his office held a news conference at the federal courthouse in Scranton, where Freed said Courtwright conspired with unnamed individuals to extort money.
When the U.S. Attorney, mentioned unindicted co-conspirators, that leads me to believe that there's some people out there right now squirming.
Courtwright is a lifelong resident of Scranton, living here in the city's west side. People here say what he has done both angers and hurts them.
I'm shocked. I never saw this coming either. I knew him, his wife, his family, his mother, his father, very nice people.
Paul Catalano owns Catalana, a popular Italian deli in West Scranton. Both he and his customers say Courtwright is now reaping what he sowed.
Under the RICO Act, mafia were arrested for doing the same thing, okay, extorting money from businesses.
And I hope it sends a warning signal to everybody else who's seeking office in the future and everybody else who's voting for those people seeking office.
This was the night in December of last year when 4-year-old Jasper Hudok's life changed forever. His father, John Crossley, stepmother Julia Crossley, and 2-year-old stepsister Riley Ferreira all died in this terrible fire in Hanover Township. Jasper was even hospitalized for a time to recover from his burns. Once he was released, firefighters in Hanover Township raised enough money to buy him this present, a brand new Power Wheels car with the fire department's logo on the front. But just this week, Jasper's mom, Kaylin Hudok, says the toy was stolen.
I was really upset because Hanover Fire Department went out of their way to each save up money and put it together to buy this for my child. They didn't have to do that, and it was out of the kindness of their hearts that they did it.
Police say Jasper's Power Wheels car was stolen from his mom's front porch here at Birchwood Village Estates in Exeter, sometime between yesterday afternoon and today. Jasper is diagnosed with autism, and this was his favorite toy.
Why would you steal like something from a child like that? You know, especially a child with special needs. Like, it's terrible.
Hanover Township Fire Chief Joe Temerant says the department felt it had to do something for Jasper immediately after the fire. Temerant was disgusted to hear that the gift has now been stolen.
It's just a shame that someone did this, so hopefully someone will return it. You know, if not, I mean, your judgment day will come.
I would just like it back. I would take it back, no questions asked.
Here in Dallas, drivers navigate around the roundabout as rush hour traffic builds up. The circular intersection seems to be a thing people love to hate, but those living here say it's growing on them.
I think it's okay now. I was against it at first, but it seems to work out pretty well.
Best thing that ever hit Dallas. It really works fine. It really does.
However, the 3 roundabouts near the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International Airport aren't quite so well liked.
I heard that's a nightmare, that there's an accident every day from the girl I work with.
Like them or hate them, PennDOT says you can thank them for keeping you safer on your commute. PennDOT says it looked at 19 roundabouts, including the one by the airport, by reviewing police reports on crashes between 2000 and 2018, and the amount of deadly crashes are down. Serious injuries in crashes fell by 90%, and overall, crashes in general dropped by 34%. PennDOT says the one thing that did increase was the number of minor accidents, such as fender benders. Those types of accidents went up by 10%. PennDOT says that's due to people not staying in their lanes or not merging properly.
It's just everybody's going from all different directions, and nobody's yielding. They're just like going, and it's like crazy. I don't like it.
Mike and Regina Enrico from Long Island are staying at the hotel near the airport. That was their first time dealing with that triple roundabout.
And the last one coming up to here, there's I think 4 or 5 exits going off of it. So it's a little bit confusing, yeah.
16 searches for the body of Haley Lorenzen over 7.5 months in the Susquehanna River, all leading up to this moment.
Let us pray.
Family, friends, and even strangers thanking a higher power for finally bringing the body of the 24-year-old with this bright smile home.
Being able to bring her home is a gift. We waited a long 7.5 months, 7 months to bring her home. And now we get to bring her home and not wonder where she is in the river.
Police say Lorenzen's boyfriend, Philip Walters, murdered her and dumped her body into the Susquehanna River from a bridge in Falls Township. Court papers show he may have been involved in a love triangle. Lorenzen moved here from her hometown in Oregon to live with Walters in Wyoming County. Lorenzen's family says they'll remember her as a bright spot in their lives.
She knew when I was coming home from work, and she'd have dinner hot on the table and like a little note saying, "Oh, Dad, I have something in the refrigerator for you, special."
Crews searched for Lorenzen 16 times, but she didn't show up until a kayaker 20 miles downstream near Plymouth found her body.
We weren't going to give up. In fact, we had a search plan for that Sunday after she was found. So, you know, there was no way we were giving up.
Haley Lorenzen lived here in Wyoming County for just 2 months before police say she was killed. But she's made a lasting impact on the people who live here. Flowers, pictures, and birthday cards were placed on this bridge in her memory.
They're feeling the pain we're feeling. They're amazing people, and they'll never forget her.
A lot of people love her here. So that warms our hearts.
Haley will forever be in the hearts of those here in Wyoming County, but her family still feels a hole in their hearts.
I know if she would have had the chance, she would have been a wonderful mother, a wonderful mom.
By law. Congratulations.
And with that, Selinsgrove welcomed its newest and youngest council member. 18-year-old Chris Kalsick was halfway through his senior year at Selinsgrove Area High School when he decided to take a shot at a seat on Borough Council and won.
I was already involved with the Snyder County Democrats Committee, and I had met great people there, and I had worked on campaigns in the past, and I was like, I think this is something I can do to give back to the community.
Borough Council President Marvin Rudnitsky says having a young member on council brings a breath of fresh air.
It's helpful to have those youthful people on and give their view of things that may be a little different from someone with as much gray hair as I have.
As a new council member, Chris would like to see some more community-based initiatives formed that bring people together, especially the area's youth. That's not surprising considering what he does for a living. Since 2016, Chris has worked part-time at the Regional Engagement Center, which provides a variety of educational, recreational, and charitable activities for the community. Chris has overseen the cafeteria that provides children with food when they come in after school.
We hired him on immediately after graduation. He ran the whole summer camp kitchen program here for us. He hired these guys, did all their training, and really takes a lot of pride in, the appearance of the cafe.
Now Chris is tackling a first year of college, a full-time job, and being a public official. But he's not worried.
I was involved in so many programs in high school. I was president of National Honor Society. I was in marching band. I was in concert band. I still worked all through high school. I worked for the American Lung Association. And I feel like this is actually less on my plate right now.
Being the Easter Bunny may not be their day job, but for Kyle Reed and his girlfriend, that's their main role here at this house in West Wyoming. Reed, who runs NEPA Mixed Martial Arts Studio in Edwardsville, spent the day visiting the homes of his students all over Luzerne County, hiding plastic Easter eggs in their yards. Because of COVID-19, Reed's studio couldn't host its annual Easter egg hunt, so he brought the hunt to his members.
So here we are, driving around town to town, street to street, backyard to backyard, just dropping off eggs.
Reed collected 10,000 plastic eggs, spent $500 on candy to put inside them. In all, the couple created personal Easter egg hunts at 150 homes in several communities, including Duryea, Kingston, Luzerne, Dallas, Nanticoke, Plymouth, to name a few. The final touch, a note to the family, they've been egged.
Kyle and the whole staff at NEPA MMA could not have gone more further far and beyond than anything we could expect through this whole time.
Just a smile on their face, especially with everything going on. They can't go to school, they can't see their friends, they can't do their regular activities. So just being able to have that little bit of joy in their life, it just means a lot to me.
With the coronavirus, Kyle has not been able to hold any of his classes at his studio here in Edwardsville, so like many others, he's operating his business online. Parents Walter and Jessica Stout say those classes have been extremely beneficial, with them all stuck inside.
Everything that they've been doing for the kids between online classes, online private lessons, and then coming out and surprising all of them like this, it's been great.